Alright. So,
Backtracking.
yes. Minor backtracking. I do bigger backtracking later. This was just to get a save point, which I didn't really need, but hey, it's good to know it's there.
Gotta fill out the map, right?
Yeah, you absolutely have to fill out the map, and it is sort of bugging me, because there's a couple of areas I can't yet fill out. I know that I'm gonna, I just don't know how.
You know what would be really great? If
What's that?
If this game added a third time period, but also the same map.
That would be really nifty. Like, somewhere in between the two, or even further back, maybe?
But that might be a little bit too much trouble to keep track of.
Yeah. I also think it would be interesting. I don't know who that they would give us to do, but I'd love if maybe, you know, like as a DLC or something, a second character, you know, with different abilities was added. Sort of like how, you know, there was Richter mode in Symphony of the Night, and Sisters mode in Portrait, and Juiced mode, or not Juiced mode, Maxim mode, and, you know, Harmony of Dissonance, and this and that and the others.
What about that?
I just don't have no idea who it would be.
What about that one angry guy from the village? Like, as long as he has a table to flip, he'd be unstoppable.
You're right, yes. His major power is table flipping. He's extremely short range, but he's unstoppable. He uses it as a shield, he uses it as a weapon. His special attack, he just gets a bigger table and flips it.
Okay, that just looks weird.
The silver hammer?
Yeah.
I mean, we had to borrow it from Maxwell. But yeah, this is basically, I think it's supposed to be like the hammer glyphs from Order of Ecclesia. A number of her orbs seem to be like homages or references to other Castlevania weapons, so I would not be remotely surprised.
I mean, in application, it just looks like it's a bigger sword.
Pretty much. I think it does like have slightly different properties. Like, I think it's more effective against armored stuff, but that would require more actual testing.
Oh dang, we're gonna need to gather keys again, aren't we?
No, fortunately that's just a one-way door. We just have to find our way to the other side of that.
I see what you're saying with it being effective against armor, but
It doesn't appear to have the, like, the guard break ability that the Shattered does.
which makes it, I would say objectively worse.
Yeah.
We already have our anti-armor, thank you very much.
Yeah. I love the Pyro Orb. Just watching those extra numbers rack up.
Yep. If Dark Souls has taught me anything, is that there's nothing better than seeing numbers fly out of things.
I mean, seeing lots of numbers fly out of things. The more numbers, the better. So the sand vial that we got is a consumable that lets us refill our time meter if it's exhausted. I completely forget that it exists in several key moments.
Well, I mean, we can just get sand back by hitting things, right?
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate any particular moment where there's going to be like an emergency where you have to have sand right now?
Mostly, it would be boss fights. When you'd want the extra time stop power. Because there are a number of bosses that you know, have effects that you really need to stop time to get around.
So this is a world, or rather a universe with interplanetary travel, right?
Yes.
And they're still writing on scrolls?
Specifically, it's through interplanetary portals. So it's more of a like D&D with gates thing. You know, it's not like space flight. It's opening a portal to another world.
I see.
Also, the planet we are on is essentially their Australia. Because it is a prison colony where people were sent to die. And here is the nifty thing that we got out of that. We got our next familiar.
Oh, man. And here I thought that my F would be a little bit more important.
My left is still, like, plot important, but we can equip a number of extra familiars. So my left is essentially the plot familiar, but we're never required to use him. The sprite I find a bit lackluster. Another one that I find a bit later, I find a lot nicer. Oh, look! We just needed to pull. Joy.
There is no pull button in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very quickly trying to clear out this one last spot on the map down here before proceeding on. You'd think I'd learn.
You'd think.
Eventually I do.
So it said the sprite specializes in healing magic, but I'm not seeing any healing happening.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure what I need to do to get it to yeah, the leather jerkin is terrible. To use it, I think it might cure statuses if given enough time to cast. But I am not... Again, I just never saw it, so I would have to experiment.
So what are we doing here?
I'm just trying to get this sprite a single level before going on. And now I have, so... We're just fucking off.
Wonder actually, you figure that if you do a certain combination of orbs, then you can get like special hidden effects.
I think it might be possible. I just don't know which ones they are. I know like certain ones seem to be really effective, like shields, scattered fire.
Because I remember, like, in Symphony of the Night, you could do a number of, like, interesting things that the game never told you could do with certain items, like
the shield rod and
Yeah.
or the Balmung and shields, and the duplicator, and what else?
I think it was mostly the shield rod.
Yeah, but there were also a bunch of like command inputs for weapons as well.
And spells.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could use any of the spells from the beginning of the game if you had the MP for it. You just had to use the right input. Because all buying the scroll did was teach you how to do it.
Yeah, I'm not really getting anything from the sprite here.
Yeah. I basically keep it equipped for a while just to see if it'll do anything, but eventually I'm gonna replace it and, you know, bench it.
Man, look at these nerds.
With their fire spells and their rings and their hoods, trying to look cool.
Probably could have jumped on that guy.
Yeah, that's what I am realizing right here.
So what particular qualities make a rose chaotic?
I have no idea. But it is a use item that cures the chaos status effect, which means we cannot use our time powers. It's sort of like a curse in most Castlevanias, that it drains all of our, you know, time points.
With a name like Chaos, I figure would have like reversed your controls or something.
It doesn't seem to do that. It might also have other effects though, because when I do get hit with it, like my attacks seem to be weaker and I seem to take more damage as well.
So just fun times all around, eh?
Oh yeah. You remember how just barely I scraped out a win against the big eye boss?
Yep.
Yeah, there's gonna be something like that coming up soon. And it's all thanks to Chaos. So we learned that the current like leader of the Lakiami and the savior of the people is a bright-eyed idealist who only wants the best for people. That never goes wrong.
I have an idea. What if we? What if we assume that like this is Lakiami like in the past, right? Like
Yes.
the Empire as we know it hasn't come to be yet.
Not at all.
So 10-1, this Ilana person is going to be the founder of Lakiami as we know it, right?
She's not the founder, but she's the one who takes it to its imperial state.
So we're going to probably end up either fighting her or facing her.
Mm-hmm.
What if we can convince her that the whole, like, raising your country to a height of a power thingy... What if we just tell her that that's a really bad idea?
You know, it might just work. So, yes, the Chaos boss. It's the twins. Oh, that was... Oh. Yeah. So they're just hand puppets.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. And here's me getting hit by chaos.
Kind of a goofy fight, actually.
It is, but it's also one that can really fuck you up if anything goes wrong, because that. And he loves this attack. Goes on only like 3 times, so.
Yeah, I'm sure you could be. Like, I'm sure you'd be able to dodge it if you had, you know, sand.
My sand, yeah. I think I know how I could dodge it if I, without sand. I just didn't figure that out until very late in the fight.
Also, you kind of keep jumping into the thing.
I do. It's got a somewhat deceptive hitbox, because it does extend out just a teensy bit past the, that little curve there.
Oh, that happened.
Hey, we got a double jump. And it's actually a very fancy double jump at that.
More of a double, like, pirouette.
Yeah.
But hey, now we've got more mobility. The world's our oyster, right?
Backtracking!
Darn right.